beautiful sport of pure destruction.
Exciting, inspiring, and humbling.
Somewhere between horrible and amazing.
In the Robot Wars arena, frankly, anything goes.
The intensity, the action, robots that are designed to beat the crap out of each other.
I've been watching Robot Wars ever since I was a kid, and I was devastated when it was cancelled back in 2004. But recently it's made an unlikely comeback. It all started in San Francisco back in 1992, when some bright spark decided to strap a chainsaw onto four wheels, and we've never looked back. But what exactly is the appeal of smashing a lump of metal into another lump of metal? Who better to ask than former Robot Wars world champion Ed Hoppett from Team Storm?
Hey!
Stephen.
Hey, Steve, Ed. Welcome
Ed.
to the Storm Technology Centre.
Thank you very much.
AKA the garage.
Talk us through what we have on the table here. It all looks very interesting.
So we've got various bits of Storm 2 sitting on the table here at the moment. We're in the process of getting the machine ready for a hopeful Series 11 of Robot Wars. You know, we've got the spinning disc weapon, which we've done some work on. We're going to be able to self-right with this in place, so we can fight, you know, those flippers that this year we weren't able to go and take on with the spinner. This is the lifting arm, the classic Storm 2 weapon, 4-bar lifter. And there's a few more surprises that are hidden in the workshop for the next series of Robot Wars. Robot fighting is this moment where kind of like art meets technology meets design meets sport. It's this melting pot of experience, careers, dreams that just creates the most amazing spectacle. Storm 2 was the right robot that appeared at the right time. In 9 months, we went from having never appeared on the series to being world champions. So the community behind the scenes is probably the most important bit of the sport. The explosion of the internet, Facebook, social media has made it so much easier to connect and collaborate with other teams around what you're doing. And that community has just become stronger and stronger and stronger. What would be my top tips for building a robot? Don't.
And I needed no more encouragement to start designing my very own robot. But first, I wanted to find out a little more about how the hobby has stood the test of time. My next port of call, therefore, was in the heart of the beast, the obvious choice for any budding roboteer. Gloucester Leisure Centre. Although the show was amazing, it wasn't actually what I came for, but rather the incredible people behind the scenes.
It's called the two-headed death flamingo. We've got two heads, two pecking beaks that sort of grab and tassel with other robots. And then we've also got wings that fold out at the start of the fight and make the whole thing about 2.5 meters wide to sort of control them and bring them into our beaks of doom.
How much can this lift? If I stood on this flipper, how high up would I go?
We've got about 5 tons of force on the ram, so we can lift probably about a ton on the end of it. So that's probably enough to throw you straight through this roof.
Perfect. Well, I won't be doing that anytime soon.
I always saw it on the telly and thought that looks like so much fun. And as soon as I tried it, I realised that, yeah, it really is that much fun.
The community is vast, and we look at it as we're one big family.
If everyone just left themselves to themselves, we wouldn't have much left at the end of it, and we need a whole team to pull together. So someone might borrow something, somebody might offer some help. You know, when things weren't on the TV, these are the people that kept it alive. So without, you know, the ones that we have here this weekend, there wouldn't be any robot fighting.
People go, oh, you spend hours and time and money on it, and then it gets smashed up and broken. Why do you like that? And we all go, I don't know, I'm not really sure. But there's just something about having something this big and this powerful and putting it in with other things that are as big and as powerful.
The smashy bit becomes less and less every year, and the sort of the community and the having fun with your mates in a leisure centre becomes, you know what I mean?
But before I could get too caught up in all the excitement, it was time to unveil my robot blueprints. So this is my robot design. As you can tell, it's perfection at its peak and completely flawless. Let's see what the Fighting Robots Association forum think of it. That's certainly a good design for your first featherweight. It's possible to build this in a weekend. Challenge accepted. Hi there. Hi there, Stephen.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rob.
Rob.
Alistair, I'm the driver.
Alistair.
Yes.
Come to build the robot.
Fantastic.
I've brought around all my robot gear. Just ready to get started, really.
All right.
Beautiful.
Let's do it.
The return of Robot Wars kind of kick-started me into starting combat robotics, and I've been sort of doing it on and off ever since. Combat robotics gets so competitive so quickly. So when you're in the arena, you can be someone completely different. Give a man a mask and he will show his true face. That's much the same as robot fighting. Give a man an RC controller and a big robot with a massive weapon on it, you're gonna see just how destructive they can be.
Don't do it. Try a sport that's safer. Play football. Go watch TV. Play cards. It's dangerous. Rob wants something that just hits something as hard as possible and send it into space like some sort of cannonball out of a cannon, obviously.
So that's powered on its own.
Yep.
The battery supplies the power to these two speed controllers.
Yep.
And then they provide the power and sort of the when the power goes onto the motors and the wheels.
Yeah.
That's how simple it can be.
Right. What would happen if it did fail?
Loss of limb, life, blood,
Yeah.
sweat, tears, ambulance.
With the threat of imminent death looming over me and planning underway, it was high time for a montage. After 2 days of blood, sweat, and pretending I knew what I was doing, the robot was finally complete. 9.2 kilos, something or other of torque, and 300% kick-ass. This is the Westminster Warrior. Oh well, seems to work. Let's fight it. So here I am at Maidstone Leisure Centre with the Westminster Warrior. Seen the competition and it looks quite tough, so hopefully it'll come back in one piece. Fingers crossed. Having seen the brutal form some of the robots were in, and one of the machines leave the arena in a puff of smoke, it was fair to say nerves are running high. hours of planning, construction, and preparation all came down to just 3 minutes in the arena. And despite my best efforts, it didn't exactly start well.
I lost a wheel! And I just push it back on.
But with the wheel reattached, I was ready to rumble.
Rumble fans, are you ready? Count them down, here we go!
The wheels come off. Lord have mercy! Oh my God! I don't think it works anymore.
Your motor's there.
Yeah.
Your cover for the motor's there. At the very back.
Oh yeah.
The robot's there. Bits of your robot kind of everywhere else.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether it's. Have you got a bean bag?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's so easy to fix. It's 2 parts. Fix.
We're not fixing that.
There we are.
Trying to get this to work again, it will be quite a challenge.
So is the dream over?
And I'm going to need to change the 2 side plates, on a new top plate, and find the link, which is somewhere in the arena still. So there's a chance this could blow up. So I'm going to do this with a bit of caution. It's alive! Theoretically, it's still working. It's just in bits. Whether we get it in the ring again or not is anyone's guess, but I'm going to give it a go.
And with the help of the amazing robot community I've heard so much about, we began fixing what was left of the Westminster Warrior in time for the next show.
So this is the Westminster Warrior version 2. Got it working with a lot of help from a lot of people, but here we go. It only goes right, but hopefully all the other opponents are going to go right as well.
Determined to go out in a blaze of glory, there was just one thing in my mind I had to do.
3, 2, 1!
I'm dead. Well, that went just as badly. Actually, no, it didn't go as badly as the first one. It didn't go as badly as the first one, but yeah, it didn't go well either. The wheels fell off again. What happened was basically it was so awesome it imploded on itself. So it just destroyed it. No, really, they got it smashed up here. There's a massive hole here. The motor's at like a right angle. Yeah, it's pretty mashed up. But we flew the flag for Westminster television production. The crowd loved it. I loved it. It's been a great day.
Despite being £450 out of pocket, my brief experience as a roboteer was amazing. I really felt that, even just for a brief period, I was welcomed into the family and witnessed the incredible community behind robot fighting that has kept the sport going for just shy of 20 years firsthand. Behind what would seem a quite violent hobby is an amazing mix of amateurs, engineers, and even rocket scientists that all have one thing in common: fighting spirit.